traders, welcome back to my channel. This is Sophie B, and this is your weekly market recap for September 15th through the 19th, 2025. In this video, we're going to break down what moved the markets this week, what to look out for next week, and some simple trading setups to keep your eyes on. But before we get into that, disclaimer, this video is for informational purposes only, so be sure to do your own research before placing any trades. All right, let's get into it. So this week, the markets rose with SPY ending up about 1.5%, and the major indices hit all-time highs. So some of the key drivers this week was the Fed Reserve decided to cut the interest rates by 25 basis points. And then we also had progress with China and the US and China trade discussions in regards to TikTok and other related geopolitical tensions. So that also boosted sentiment. And we also had strong performance in tech and AI related names like NVDA and Apple, and plus optimism around continued easing and inflows. So sector-wise, technology and AI growth again outperformed the market, and semiconductors saw strength. The industrials and financials were mixed, while the smaller caps had some weakness relative to the mega caps. One of our notable movers this week was Intel. It soared after NVIDIA made a large stake in it, leading a sharp move in the semiconductor group. And then Apple rose 3.2% on Friday. It rallied after strong demand expectations for the iPhone 17 and raised price targets. This week, we saw heavy call volume in AI and tech names, particularly in NVIDIA and Apple. And then we also saw some unusual block sweeps in CRWV. CRWV finally broke out of its resistance around 120. And then we also saw an increase in implied volatility in some lagging names and also in NVIDIA. So just give me 1 second to get my charts pulled up. And again, I have multiple screens, so excuse me for looking at different screens. I'm going to get some charts pulled up so we can go through some names and note some key resistance or key price points. So this is a SPY chart. Yeah, so just prior to, well, next week we want to look out for earnings from Micron, AutoZone, Costco, and Nebuous. Those are like the main four that I'm going to be looking out for. So if y'all do want to make earnings plays, these are some names that you might want to check out. We also want to keep our eyes out just for economic news and economic events. And I'm going to just run through a few ticker symbols and state those key price points that we want to look out for. And around these key price points, we want to look out for it to either break above resistance or break down below support. So first, we're going to start with SPY, and that's ticker symbol or the S&P 500 ETF, ticker symbol SPY. So it has a resistance around this 674, which is an all-time high, and it has support around 660. About in this area, it has support around 660. And if you notice, it kind of traded, 660 was that resistance level. This right here was when the Fed announced that they were going to cut rates. So it was just a lot of unnecessary movement during that time before it finally broke resistance. And it's now trading above or around this 664. So we want to watch for SPY to break above this 664 and to continue to reach all-time highs. Next, we're going to talk about the gold ETF, GLD. So with this one, we have resistance around the all-time. Well, I would say we reached the all-time high at 341. And again, this right here was the moves when the Fed announced the rate cut. Um, Again, a lot of just unnecessary movement, just like SPY. Prior to that, we were trading around this 339, and as you can see, it's made its way back up to that price point. So this week we want to make sure it breaks above this 339. And if it does not, then we're going to watch for it to go around this 334 support. Next, we're going to look at Palantir. Now, I noticed Palantir finally broke above its support at that around that 362 mark. It finally broke out of this range. And this line right here is this line right here is from a channel that I previously had from back in August. And I'm gonna just pull it out some so you can see the bigger picture. But I just wanted to note that I see that it reached its all-time highs back around mid-August, around 189. And right now it's currently trading around 182. But we have that resistance on this support channel or on this bullish channel. If you notice, it touched that line and it kind of came back down. So next week we want to make sure it breaks above that 184 and get back in that bullish channel. Or if it's going to break support or break below resistance and come back down. Next we're going to look at CoreWeave. And CoreWeave also kind of broke above. It was trading and like struggling to get above this 120 mark. It finally broke above that 120 mark and it reached well, not a high, but for the week, it reached 129, but then it came back down. And it looks like it's currently trading around this 124 mark. So next week, we want to look to see if it's going to continue to break above this 129 or if it's going to fall back below this 124 mark. Next, we're going to look at NVDA. So NVIDIA looks like it's struggling to get above this 178. So I would give the resistance around that 178 mark. And then we have support around 172. So next week, we want to see if NVIDIA is going to finally break above this 178 or if it's going to come back down to this 172. And before I'm gonna talk about Microsoft next, but I just wanted to know, so NVIDIA has kind of been moving sideways for the past month after it broke down out of that bullish channel. So we want to pay attention to see if it's gonna make its way back up to like this 183 and above that before it goes back bullish. And so just looking at a line chart, in my eyes, Nvidia is still bearish right now. It's no longer in this bullish channel. It's kind of trading sideways, but slightly bullish. So if you notice how these highs, how it's getting like lower and lower. So we want to make sure it closes above this 178 and to confirm that it's back bullish and no longer bearish, because next week it could easily fall back down here to like the 160 area. So we want to watch for NVIDIA to make those moves. And Microsoft, again, we had it in this bullish channel. It broke down below the bullish channel, and it was kind of trading between this 492 to the 508 for about a month. It finally broke above that 508, and it is currently at a resistance around this 517. So we want to make sure, so Microsoft may be on its way back up to being bullish instead of trending sideways and bearish. So we also, yeah, so we're looking at a trend reversal right now. And we want to make sure Microsoft breaks above this 517 and continues to go, or if it's going to come back down to this 508 or break below it. So this was Microsoft for the past week. So next, we're going to look at United Healthcare. So United Healthcare is right now is trading around 336. Give me 1 second. So it looks like it kind of had it reached this 360 and it ended up coming back down. But I was just looking at the chart and I wanted to note that the price point that it is at right now, it was trading at that price point about 4 or 5 years ago, 5 years ago. So and if you look at this, this marker right here, it's another price point that it traded at 5 years ago. So if you're in United Healthcare or trading United Healthcare, you need to pull the chart all the way back because it's playing off of price points from 5 years ago. I just wanted to make a note of that just in case you're in United Healthcare. So you want to watch for United Healthcare to break above this three. So I would say, and then it kind of has this resistance at 150. So you want to make sure it's going to break above that 150 and 160 and stay above it, or if it's going to come back down and start trading in this like 310 zone because it finally broke out of that zone as well. So next we're going to look at AMD. So we got AMD. Whoa, I didn't even notice that. Hold on. AMD is also trading at a price point it was at in 2021. I didn't even realize that. So we need to watch out for that. So and it looks like it's kind of struggling to get above those price points. So this week it hit that 178, but then it came right back down to about 152. So it has a pretty strong support around this 150 area. So we want to watch for AMD to see if it's going to continue above this 157, get above 162, and then continue to run from there. So we want to watch those price points with AMD. Then next we're going to talk about Apple. So with Apple, Apple finally broke out of this little 230. It broke out of this like 230, 234 resistance. Then it had a little resistance around 241. It finally broke out of that Friday with the iPhone 17 release. So now it's currently trading at around 246. And I believe this had a resistance. Yeah, so it kind of hit resistance around that 245, 246 area. And you see it's right there on that point. So we want to make sure Apple breaks above these price points to continue to rally bullish. And we're also going into the holiday season, and Apple typically like runs during the holiday season because people get gifts, the iPhones, iPads, MacBooks, all of that stuff, AirPods, and all of that for the holidays. So Apple typically runs during the holidays. So if you do want to make holiday plays, you might want to think about getting into those bullish plays now so you can get a leg in early. But again, you want to make sure Apple's going to break above this resistance at around 246. So that's primarily it for all the charts that I wanted to go over. But this week you could have some bullish plays on names like NVDA, CoreWeave, Palantir, Apple, Microsoft. All of those are looking very bullish, but again, we want to verify that they're going to break through the resistance that they're at right now. We may have some bearish setups on names that fail to hold support. So if we notice that a stock is at support and it fails to hold support, then we may want to do some bearish trades on it, i.e. puts. Um, and also you want to do iron condors and neutral volatility plays on your indices and like SPY, the NASDAQ and stuff like that. So that's all I have for y'all this week. So let me know in the comments what setups you're looking out for and what you're trading. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a weekly update. And make sure you join our Discord chat. We are starting a new class this week on Tuesday. So if you are new to options and you are looking to get into options trading, now is the perfect time for you to join our group chat. We meet every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we also have live trading on Monday at 08:30 as soon as the market opens to discuss what we're going to talk about or get into for the week ahead. So that is all I have for you right now. I'll catch you in the next video. So make sure you stay focused and trade smart.